Now we have one more person to enshrine, and it's none other than the Playmaker, Michael Irvin, who we are told does not have any prepared notes, Steve Mariucci.
Uh-oh.
And you can see he is already emotional. He is already tearing up even before he's going to say a word. So now, the final enshrinee, as presented by Jerry Jones, Michael Irvin.
Will. W-I-L-L. I've never seen anybody with more of it.
Who do you think it is? Michael Irvin!
Competitiveness. Whatever it took, the competitiveness for the entire team, not just for himself.
Get the damn job done today!
And I think a focus. When it was time to practice, it was complete focus.
Brilliance by Michael Irvin! Brilliance!
What I do?
Make plays!
That's what make plays, baby!
To the person that will ever talk about Michael Irvin, the first thing they'll say is the hardest worker we've ever been around.
Is it Michael Irvin or Michelangelo?
Strength was his #1 thing. I'm talking about physical strength. When I was on the competition committee, at my protesting, the league made a Michael Irvin rule as to just how much you could use that strength against D-backs.
In his 12 seasons, all with the Cowboys, the man they called the Playmaker set nearly every Cowboy receiving record and was an integral part of their 3 Super Bowl victories in the 1990s. Yet ironically, his greatest individual effort may have come in defeat during the 1994 NFC Championship game.
We had it all on the table there. We spot San Francisco 21 points in 5 minutes. And that team fought back all day long. Michael Irvin statistically had one of his greatest games. It was like a heavyweight prize fight. The battle that Michael Irvin was involved in with Deion Sanders on almost every play. Boy, did he make play after play after play.
He has a receiver out there. It is caught. Touchdown, Dallas.
It's one of only 3 games that I've ever teared up after the game was over. It meant that much and more to everybody in the organization.
From the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, it's the Bills and the Cowboys in Super Bowl 27.
Go with me, if you will, for a high point in his career, to Pasadena, the Rose Bowl. 100,000 people out there. Beautiful mountains in the background. Michael scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. One of them, when he scored, he had his back to the end zone. He wheeled and ran through the end zone with one arm outstretched, and we go up on them. Right then, I had the feeling we're going to be world champions. And there, Michael Irvin was what the scene was all about.
Bobby Taylor hits Irvin, but it'll still pick up 8 yards, and Irvin is slow getting up.
Michael Irvin hasn't gotten up yet. Uh-oh, that looks bad.
Mike was going across the middle on a short slant, and he didn't get up when he was hit. He didn't get up. That great competitor, the guy who won't take no for an answer, the guy with all that will, was laying there, compromised. I got in the ambulance with him, and we got his wife, Sandy, on the cell phone. And all of a sudden, he started moving. And he reached over and I said, Michael, you're moving your hand. You're moving. And we got Sandy back there and we said, hey, he's moving. He's starting to move. Boy, didn't realize that was it.
Although his career ended prematurely, Irvin's impact and achievements have secured his place in football's most elite fraternity.
Induction day will be like the day you get up when you get an opportunity to be in a Super Bowl. It's a privilege to be there. It's a privilege to be a part of it. But more important than anything, to have the honor to get to be a part of Michael Irvin going into the Hall of Fame, be there, have something to say about him going in there. When I know of all of the people that he's touched and the great things that they could say, And for me to get the chance to say those in a few short minutes, it's Super Bowl day for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present Michael Irvin for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, please welcome Jerry Jones.
Hey.
Man, that'll fire you up there. And what an honor to be here with you, to be right here on this historic ground with these champions sitting here behind us. You know, it is unique what can be the makeup of a championship team. A championship team can have a catalyst. They can have a spark. Someone that can put a fire in another person's heart. The Dallas Cowboys of the 1990s were champions. They were in 3 Super Bowls and won them in 4 years' time. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you tonight that the heartbeat, the heart and the soul of those championship teams was Michael Irvin. Michael came to Dallas with a self-proclaimed nickname, the Playmaker. Now, at first, many people didn't understand why this young guy would brand himself with such a bold nickname. But we began to figure it out real soon. When it was 3rd and long, and the opposition coaches knew exactly where Troy Aikman was throwing the ball. The defensive backs knew exactly where Aikman was going with the ball. Everybody in the stadium knew where the ball was going, but they couldn't stop it. Troy Aikman often said the greatest thing about Michael Irvin is that you could throw him the ball when he was covered, or you could throw him the ball when it was open, and the results were usually the same almost all the time. It was either a completion, and most of the time it was for a first down. Now, when you've got a quarterback that has that kind of confidence in your receiver, you can have some offense. That's how you earn the name Playmaker, and that's how you keep it. His performance always improved as the level of competition increased. He routinely had his best games against Deion Sanders, Darrell Green, Ron Woodson, Aeneas Williams, and his numbers increased as that long season went along and we got closer to the playoffs. Michael's increased. From the regular season to the playoffs, from the playoffs to the Super Bowl, that was Michael Irvin's best days. At the pinnacle of his career in 1995, he had 11 100-yard receiving games, a mark that is still an NFL record today. But the Dallas Cowboys offenses really weren't designed for the receiver to get big stats. They really weren't designed for Troy, the quarterback, to really rack them up in statistics. The teams were designed to win championships, and what that meant was take what the defense gave you. Now, with the backdrop of all of that, the fact that one team could produce the NFL's greatest all-time rushing leader in Emmitt Smith, the fact that last year, the first opportunity that he had a chance to be honored with these men, Troy Aikman came into the NFL Hall of Fame. And the fact tonight that Michael Irvin is going to go in the Hall of Fame, it just shows you the team concept and shows you the balance that was there. And the player that epitomized it more than anyone on the team, the player that taught it, the player that embellished it, that was Michael Irvin and his leadership. You can't get to Canton, Ohio without exceptional talent, but athletic ability alone was only a part of Michael's gifts. His hard work is legendary. In two-a-days, the grind of all of it. When you'd be on the field in the morning and in the afternoon, someone would look around and find, where's Michael? And he'd be down on the field with pads on in the hot sun, getting some more in. His passion, his competitiveness were really possibly his greatest gifts. And he shared them with his teammates on a daily basis. He practiced every day with the determination of a rookie that was hanging by a thread to make the team. And that's the way this great player approached it. Aikman told me yesterday that Michael would never let the team have a bad practice. If there was a lull, he would create something between the defense and the offense. He'd get some stuff going just so that team could practice and get better for what they had to face Sunday. Maybe that's the quality that separates the good players from the great players, the Hall of Fame players. Or maybe it's just the natural instinct of a man who had 16 brothers and sisters and knew that nothing in life was going to be given to him. In the locker room, he was a teammate first, a competitor second, and a superstar third. His leadership style not only transcended the cliques in the locker room, but his leadership style on our team and our organization went from the locker room and the equipment room all the way to the boardroom. It permeated it. I don't know that we'll see again a professional football player with a combination of his strength and his skills as an athlete on the field and his unbelievable people skills. Smart, resourceful, communication, charm, the kind of charisma and tremendous will with the strength to get the respect of the team. He had his faults, but in a unique way that only Michael Irvin could pull off. His fallibility by the people who followed him, by the people who were looking at him, his fallibility gave them strength because they knew too how fallible they were, and they wanted to see somebody that could go down and come up stronger and try to get better when they got on their feet. That's what Michael Irvin brought to the Dallas Cowboys in his locker room. He learned the game from his older brothers in Fort Lauderdale. He had a great high school that he played for, St. Thomas High School. He became a star at the University of Miami, drafted by Gil Brandt and Tex Ram. He was nurtured by Coach Tom Landry, and he was coached in college and embellished when he got to pro football by one of the greatest coaches, Jimmy Johnson. He spent his entire career in the loving embrace of the Dallas Cowboys. His journey reaches a destination tonight here in Canton, and it was a longer journey than most, with a lot of bumps in the road. He got knocked down for the last time at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, but tonight he'll get up again and he'll take his place among the immortals of this great game. Michael Irvin, he's a friend. If you're in my shoes, you feel like it's a son. He's an inspirational and a natural born leader. He's a loving father and husband. He's a wonderful brother and son. He's a Dallas Cowboy. And tonight, forevermore, he's a member of the Professional Football Hall of Fame. It's pride to present you Michael Irvin. Come on up here, baby.
Thank you. Father, I'd like to thank you for allowing all of us to travel here safely, and thank you in advance for the same and allowing us to travel home. Father, thank you for the man that you sent me to help me, and Bishop T.D. Jakes, my spiritual father. And I ask you now to put your arms around my Hall of Fame classmate, Gene Hickerson, and his family. Father, hold them tight and love them right. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Hey, thank you. I want to send a special love to all the people in Dallas, Texas. Special love to all the Dallas Cowboy fans all over the world. Special love goes to my hometown of South Florida and all the Miami Hurricane fans, St. Thomas Aquinas fans. But I want to send love to every fan everywhere, because you hear so often that people say, oh, these are the guys that built the game. No, it's your hunger and your love for the game and your love for what we do that make this game what it is. I thank you for loving the game like we love it. Jerry, those were kind words. Thank you. You know, when I first met Jerry, he had just purchased the Dallas Cowboys. He had a bit of a concerned look on his face. And I said to him, I said, we will have fun and we will win Super Bowls. You see, I knew Jerry had put all he had into purchasing the Cowboys, and that's the way I see Jerry. He's a man that's willing to give all he has, and all he wants is to bring the Cowboy family Super Bowls. Jerry, I appreciate your commitment to family, the Dallas Cowboy family, and your own family. He has a beautiful wife, Jean. And I tell her this, I just love her to death. Her spirit exudes beauty. Her mannerisms exude class. She's one of a kind. Jean, I do love you. They have beautiful kids, daughter Charlotte, son Stephen and Jerry Jr. Each have played a role in my life, and I thank all of them. So heartfelt thank you to the selection committee, especially Rick Goslin and Shireen Williams. Shireen is the first woman to have a seat on the selection committee. So Shireen, congratulations to you. These gentlemen behind me, these men, they inspired me to become the player that I became. And as I spent this week with these gentlemen that I've admired growing up, I kept thinking about how gifted they are. Man, they're gifted to run and cut, gifted to throw and catch, gifted to run through blocks and make great tackles. And then I met their wives and their families. And I realized that it's not only about the gift God gave us, but equally important is the help that God gave us. The help is the people that God put in place to support us on our journey. So I will try to put the credit in the right place tonight and share with you my help and my journey. I thank God for the help of my father, Walter Irvin. whom I lost at the age of 17. He was my hero, and he loved, I'm telling you, he loved the Dallas Cowboys. I woke up this morning smiling, knowing that my father will not be here in the flesh, but that he is in heaven, watching and celebrating with his all-time favorite coach, Coach Tom Landry. Also, Tex Schramm, Derek Shepard, and Mark Tournay. Those guys, we think about them here, we feel them here, and they will always be with us. Before my father made his journey to heaven, I sat with him. His final words to me were, "Promise me you will take care of your mother. She's a good woman." As you've heard, my mother raised 17 children, most of whom are here tonight. There were challenges, but she would never complain. She always walked around the house and said, "God has promised me that my latter days will be better than my former days." My mom and my Aunt Fanny, her older sister, they are part of my travel squad now. And as we travel, all they want is a nice room and an open tab on room service. And when my work day is done, I get to come by their room and we tell stories and we laugh and we have fun. And we always end the night with them telling me, "Baby, this is what God meant when he said our latter days will be better than our former days." You know, I can't tell you how it makes me feel to know that God uses me to deliver his promise. I love you, Mom. I love you, Aunt Fanny. For better or for worse, those are the vows we take before God in marriage. It's easy to live with the for better, but rarely can you find someone who sticks around and endures the for worse. Sandy, my beautiful wife, I have worked tirelessly, baby, to give you the for better. But I also gave you the for worse. And you didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve it. But through it all, I experienced the depth of your love. And I thank God for you. I love the mother that you are, the wife that you are. I love the way that you take care of our family, our daughters, Maisha and Chelsea, and our sons, Michael and Elijah. I thank you from a place that I can't mention, I can't even express, baby, for keeping our family together. I love you so much. My football family, as Jerry told you, began at St. Thomas Aquinas High School under the wise tutelage of a great coach named George Smith. George Smith has dedicated 37 years to that great program. a great man, and I thank all the people at St. Thomas for believing in a young man like me. And then I went on to the University of Miami. And I think most of y'all know how I feel about the U. Yes, the U. You better believe it. And after that, I was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, where I played and worked with some of the best to ever be around this game. For example, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith is the all-time leading rusher, and the great thing about that, his rookie year, he said to me he was going to become the all-time leading rusher. I doubted him, like I think everybody would have. But what an inspiration to be in a room and see a man set a goal so high and then be persistent, be dedicated, and accomplish that in which he set out to accomplish. Emmitt, you're an inspiration to so many. The third part and the third member of the triplets is Troy Aikman. My quarterback, our leader. Troy Aikman led us to 3 Super Bowls. When I say led, I mean led. To 3 Super Bowls. It's all time. He's the winningest quarterback in the decades of the 90s. And then if you talk to him and you ask him what's his most memorable game, he will tell you that 94 NFC Championship game that everybody's talking about. It's a game that we were down by 21 and we lost, but we never gave up. That's the mark of a true leader. All he wants is for each player to give all he has all the time. That's Troy Aikman. That game is one of my most memorable games for all of those reasons, but it had a little something extra for me. We were down 21 and Troy came in that huddle with those big blue eyes, and he looked up and he said, "Hey, I'm coming to you no matter what." Whew. Let me tell you, as a wide receiver, that's all I ever wanted to hear. Just come to me no matter what. And he did. He came to me no matter what. But Troy, you've always come to me no matter what. And I'm not just talking about on the football field. And for that, you have a special place in my heart, and you always will, no matter what. I love you, Troy. I love you deeply. As the triplets, we received most of the press and the credit, but we were surrounded with some great guys, great players, talented guys. Guys like Darren Woodson, Dallas Cowboys all-time leading tackler. My Cowboy counterpart, Jay Novacek, what a great tight end he is. Daryl Johnson, the unsung hero, Moose. Larry Allen and Eric Williams, I'm telling you, they are 2 of the better linemen, if not the best linemen, to ever play this game. The big fella, Nate Newton. Jim Jeffcoat. And one of the best cornerbacks and the finest athlete I ever went around, that's Deion Sanders, prime time. And so many more. You can't accomplish what we've accomplished with just great players. You also need great coaches, and we had that. We had guys like Norv Turner, Dave Weinstedt, Dave Campos, my position coach, Coach Hubbard Alexander, who is my heart. Coach, you took me as a young man out of high school, and I know I gave you a lot of mess through the years. Thank you for being there, Coach. And our head coach, he will always be my head coach. That's Jimmy Johnson. We worked hard. We had the best, and I'm telling you the very best, and I'm willing to take an argument with anybody on this, strength and conditioning coach in the world. His name is Mike Warsick. He has 6 Super Bowl rings. 6 people, twice. He has won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, once with us, and now with the New England Patriots. So if anybody wants to take an argument, I am a debater. I am here and ready. Mike Warsick, you are, man, the very best. You put me back together from that knee injury. And as we always tell each other when we say goodbye, Miss Pa, which means may God hold you till we see each other again. I also walked on campus at the University of Miami, same day, with our PR director, Rich Dalrymple. And I know some of you are saying it's fitting that you are tight with the PR director, Michael. You know, but Rich has been a great friend. When I walk in his office now, Rich has pictures of us. He has pictures of us at the University of Miami when he has this nice, beautiful black hair. And then he has pictures of us now when he's all gray. And he says to me all the time, "You see these gray hairs?" I say, "Yeah." He says, "You gave them to me." And I tell him, I say, "Well, you see those 4 championship rings you have? I gave them to you too." You know, I have experienced all this game has to offer on the football field. The losing, going 3-13, and even 1-15. And in my second season, the career-threatening knee injury, thinking I would never play this game that I love again. And even in 1999, the career-ending neck injury, that in which football players fear the most. But I've also had some beautiful victories. We won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and I can't tell you what that feels like. And we did it with guys that we loved to play with and guys that we loved. Folks, I'm telling you, that's the true essence of a football family. And that's exactly what we are. Not was, what we are. I love all of those guys that I played with. Since retiring, I have developed a deeper awareness and understanding for this game. First, as a fan, and then as an analyst. That is where I've learned that it's so much more than merely a game. Thanks to ESPN, thank you ESPN, for giving me the opportunity to travel to NFL stadiums throughout this country, visiting with fans and seeing this game from a completely different perspective. The movie, Remember the Titans, is my favorite movie, starring Denzel Washington. And I love the way in this movie, the game of football brings those boys together. It unites those boys on that football field. It unites a whole town, black, white, old, young, rich, and poor. And it happens every year around this time in NFL locker rooms and NFL stadiums. So don't tell me it's just a game. My favorite day was Monday, September the 25th, 2006. New Orleans, Louisiana, site of the Superdome. I watched our people who had suffered so grievously through Hurricane Katrina fill a stadium hours before a game and stay hours after the game. I witnessed those fans as they look for each other, hug one another, and just be thankful to be in that stadium. You see, the game flexed its greatest muscle that day, the ability to heal. I experienced a football game that contributed to the healing of a city. So don't tell me it's just a game. You know, the Bible speaks of a healing place. It's called a threshing floor. The threshing floor is where you take your greatest fear and you pray for help from your great God. I want to share something with you today. I have two sons. Michael, he's 10, and Elijah, he's 8. Michael and Elijah. Could you guys stand up for me? That's my heart right there. That's my heart. When I am on that threshing floor, I pray. I say, God, I have my struggles, and I made some bad decisions. But whatever you do, don't let me mess this up. I said, please, help me raise them for some young lady so that they can be a better husband than I. Help me raise them for their kids so that they could be a better father than I. And I tell you guys to always do the right thing so that you can be a better role model than Dad. I sat right here where you are last year and I watched the class of 2006. Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Harry Carson, Rayfield Wright, John Madden, and the late, great Reggie White, represented by his wife, Sarah White. And I said, wow. That's what a Hall of Famer is. Certainly I am not that. And I doubted I would ever have the chance to stand before you today. So when I returned home, I spoke with Michael and Elijah, and I said, that's how you do it, son. You do it like they did it. Michael asked, he said, Dad, do you ever think we will be there? And I didn't know how to answer that. And it returned me to that threshing floor. But this time, I was voiceless. But my heart cried out. God, why must I go through so many peaks and valleys? I wanted to stand in front of my boys and say, do it like your dad, like any proud dad would want to. Why must I go through so much? And at that moment, a voice came over me, and it said, look up, get up, and don't ever give up. And you tell everyone or anyone that has ever doubted, thought they did not measure up, or wanted to quit, you tell them to look up, get up, and don't ever give up. Thank you, and may God bless you.
To finish up another induction weekend here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Marcus Allen giving a hug to now his fellow Hall of Famer, Michael Irvin. Rayfield Wright right behind him. Two great players sharing a moment after Michael Irvin shared so much, wearing so much on his sleeve in his 25-minute long acceptance speech in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Steve Mariucci, all the Dallas Cowboys. You see Lilly and Aikman and Rayfield Wright all lining up. That's quite a receiving line that Michael Irvin's about to go through right there.
And I bet he's relieved that it's over. And as expected, he was the longest speech of the night, the most emotional speech of the night. Very, very heartfelt and eloquent, and what an intelligent, passionate guy. And you know what, Rich? Without a note.
We all knew it was going to be something special, and it certainly turned out to be the case. Michael Irvin with the, as you said, emotional, Steve, capper to induction Saturday 2007. They're all coming up to him now. Lynn Swann, I think I saw Harry Carson, who Irvin mentioned in his speech. Jerry Jones giving him a hug. And it was quintessential Michael Irvin, Steve, and the fact that he has his pride, but he also knows about his weaknesses. And they were on the front pages, they were on back pages, they were on sports pages, they were everywhere during his playing career.
Well, he certainly
he went through it all.
He did, and he wears his emotions on his sleeve. And he went from one subject to another, of course, starting with Jerry Jones and his family, going to his own personal family and his teammates and his life story, really.
Eric Dickerson giving him congratulations. That is Harry Carson right there. Michael Irvin wrapping up the latest enshrinement ceremony. We are just getting started with our coverage of it. Don't go anywhere. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony is in the books. The first one ever under the lights here in Canton, Ohio. 6 more enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, swelling the ranks to 241. NFL Total Access at the Pro Football Hall of Fame is on the air after the induction ceremony, and we are thrilled to welcome onto this program Michael Irvin, Hall of Famer. How are you there, Michael?
I am doing well, Rich.
Good to see you.
Hey, it's good to be here.
So you're with me and Steve Mariucci,
Coach.
and
It's always good to see you, Coach.
This
Not that it's not always good
bust,
to see you.
I know, I
It's good to
appreciate
see you
that,
too.
Michael, but it's happened. You got the jacket, you have the bust, you are a Hall of Famer. How is this sinking into your head right now?
Well, you know what, it really is an incredible blessing, right? And you know, it's something, and I've been waiting as time has been going on to actually be here in this moment and wonder what it feels like when I'm finished speaking and I could just go and say, hey, I'm a Hall of Famer now. So, you know, it's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. And we have such a wonderful class that I'm getting enshrined with. So, you know, I'm just happy.
You got named 6 months ago. Have you been working on that speech? That was the most emotional speech that we've heard in a long time, and you were off the cuff, no notes, from the heart. How long have you been working on that speech?
Well, you know what? I'm amazed by it all, because the reality is I think this is a lifetime achievement, and all we are doing is sharing our moments in life and the things that have helped us get to this point. I don't think I need to write notes to remember what I've gone through in life, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to open up and share. I really did. I thought with all that I have gone through, not only on the football field, but more importantly off the football field, that I needed to open up with people and kind of share where I am in life.
I'm sure the other guys were glad that they went before you, because that would have been a hard act to follow. Hard act to follow. Now listen, when you unveil this thing, is that the first time you see it?
It was. Well, I saw it when he came to work on it a little bit, but I didn't see it with the smooth face and the finished
Can you
product.
say, well, listen, can you change my hairline a little bit or anything, or you just kind of accept what you get and
no,
you don't have any input in this, do you?
It's fine. It's like I was telling people this in the jacket. You know, everybody wanted me to fancy up the jacket. I was like, you can't fancy up a Hall of Fame jacket. No. You leave it as it is. Yeah. So, you know, it's class by itself. And Buswell, Blair Buswell, he did a great job.
Great job. Why did you include everything, soup to nuts, Michael? Because obviously, what a stellar career you had. I mean, we could sit here for the rest of the show and talk about your on-the-field accomplishments, but your off-the-field issues that you've endured throughout your life and career. Why did you feel it necessary to address that in your speech?
I think what God has given me was a testimony, and in some sense now he gives me this stage. And after he gives you a testimony and gives you a stage, it is only right to share that testimony. You see, and so I felt that I needed to share it. There are a lot of guys, and you don't know that when I'm on airplanes and when I'm traveling throughout the country, how many people that I come in contact with, and they sit and share with me, or their son or their brother or someone in their family is struggling in some way, and we sit and we fellowship, and maybe I call them, and it helps. It helps them. It helps me to help them, and it means something. So I just wanted to try to send a message to all the people that are going through anything, that life goes on, keep getting up, and don't ever quit.
And missing out last year obviously was difficult on you, but do you feel that now that you've gone through it in your own way, that it was fitting that it worked out this way?
It worked out best. It really did, the way it worked out. I mean, Troy, you know, Troy Aikman was our leader. And I said that there, and it was fitting that he goes in and he leads. He let us in, you know. I'm in now, we'll have Emmett, and then you guys are compadre up here, Deion Sanders, and we keep returning and returning. So it was fitting the way it worked out. And also, you know, this class, it gave me the chance to go last, yes. which is good, you know. That last year's class, that was an incredible class. Yeah. When I didn't get in last year, I humbly sat down and said, okay, Michael, you're good, but you are not that good. And I understood that.
Well, you're that good, and you're in, and you've had such an amazing career all the way up in high school and college and in the pros with some great teammates. You have a beautiful family. You've done it all. What's in store for Michael Irvin in the very near future?
Well, I'm going to continue to try to serve God, and continue to self-evaluate and work on myself. I think that's the most important thing, and try to help people as I go along. And I mean, I got such a passion about helping people now. I mean, so many people have always been there for me, and it's only right to continue to do that. I still love doing this.
Right.
And I will continue to do some of this.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of where I will be doing.
Well, in the meantime, were you talking about this guy right over here?
This is my buddy.
See this? Come on. Here we go. Oh, Deion Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
Do not give him a microphone.
Years ago, when you said you were going to retire. Remember that years ago back in the 90s when you were upset with the Dallas media and you gave this wonderful speech on the news, and I called you that evening. I said, great performance, Michael. Denzel couldn't have turned in a performance better than that. But what I seen out there tonight topped it all.
He did call me, and I was going, it was right after I went through all I've gone through, trial and everything, and it takes it out of you, and it did take it out of me, and I was thinking about maybe it's time to just walk away from the game, and I spilled my heart out, and I get on the phone, and I answer the phone, I'm thinking Dion is about to tell me, hey man, listen, I'm with you, and I love you, and he gets on the phone, clapping, talking about, and the Oscar goes to, I said, get off this phone, man.
Oh, that was an Oscar. Hey, Commissioner Goodell say, tell Michael that was the best speech I've heard in quite some time. So it really was. Well, and I know your heart. I know the man behind the playmaker, the man behind the plays, and that was wonderful. Well, you did a great job, Michael.
Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. And I know coming from you, a man that loves that microphone himself. You know, they say a man's opinion is only as good as his knowledge on that subject, and I know you are knowledgeable and gifted when it comes to speaking, so thank you.
Did you see how he knew exactly where the microphone was?
He knew exactly where
the microphone was.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time, though. Every time I have him at an event, I say, Dion, I'm giving you the mic, just don't leave. And that's the only thing that'll keep him there until the event ends.
And I saw you back there saying, okay, Jerry, this is my night. Come on, Jerry, wrap it up. Let me give it Come on, Jerry. Come on. This is my night.
Hey, you know that's boss. I heard you the other day. I watched. Well, you said, boss, you're going to always be my boss. You built the west wing of the house. So don't you? I was like, take your time, young man. Mama used to say, take your time. You know how I feel, Dion, and you also. You know how we feel about Jerry. Jerry, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He doesn't. You know, people do give him a bad reputation, but he's one of the greatest owners and one of the greatest people that you ever want to be around.
Yes.
And when you say Jerry, do you mean this Jerry? I'm bringing them all in. Just keep mentioning people. Come on in here.
Bring them in now.
Jerry Jones.
That's my man.
In fact, Jerry Jones, great to see you. He's going to join us next on NFL Total Access. Who else do you want? Just keep mentioning people. I'll pull them out.
Jerry's enough.
Where is Troy?
We had him on earlier.
We'll be right back from Canton. Michael Irvin's a Hall of Famer.
And I made some bad decisions. But whatever you do, don't let me mess this up. I said, please, help me raise them for some young lady so that they can be a better husband than I. Help me raise them for their kids so that they could be a better father than I. I sat right here where you are last year and I watched the class of 2006. Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Harry Carson, Rayfield Wright, John Madden, and the late, great Reggie White, represented by his wife, Sarah White. And I said, wow. That's what a Hall of Famer is. You tell everyone or anyone that has ever doubted, thought they did not measure up, or wanted to quit, you tell them to look up, get up, and don't ever give up. Thank you, and may God bless you.
That's the speech of Michael Irvin. Yep. That's the way it wrapped up here in Canton, Ohio in 2007. Rich Eisen along with Steve Mariucci right here in Fawcett Stadium, where it was an emotional day and night for not only Michael Irvin, but the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, who presented Michael Irvin here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Why'd you choose Mr. Jones to present you?
Well, Jerry is the only pick, to be honest with you. I mean, Jerry has been a great friend, and like he said, like a father, a business partner, whatever he needs to be, he's been all of that. Just a great mentor. And and we get a chance to intertwine our families. He has a beautiful family, and there are some things, when I sat down and talked to my wife, I said, who do you think should be the one that present us? And she had no second, number two. She said, Jerry Jones, that's it. There's some things that have transpired between her and Jerry, where Jerry really talked to her and talked her through some things, and I appreciated that. So, you know, he was the right guy.
And what does it feel to you to hear that from the mouth of one of your greatest players?
Well, I'll never forget when he looked over and said, "You're going to Canton." And I said, well, that's the only way I'm going to get there, but I am going with you, Michael. And it was a great thrill. He and Sandy came over to my office. And after they left, I looked around and I thought, boy, the times that we'd been sitting right there. Many times we've been sitting right there, and we kind of worked through some things and had some things, not between us, but with other things as well. And it was such an honor, and I mean this. There were so many people Michael could have asked. So many people wanted to give their story of Michael. You heard some of it tonight. Mm-hmm. You heard it. You know, I thought, I'm so glad that this country, and I'm so glad this group could hear him, because that's how he leads. That's how he leads. And again, I'm going to say it now, unless you've not gone down yourself, then you can lead when somebody will get back up as strong as Michael would get back up.
Jerry, since you bought the team, I know it was important for you to create a family atmosphere and environment there. It was very evident tonight, the love that you showed towards his family and the love that you showed for Michael's family. How do you keep this gentleman involved with the Dallas Cowboys here going forward? How do you keep Michael Irvin continuing to be a Cowboy?
He's inextricably involved forevermore. Like Tom Landry. Really, I'm not exaggerating. Or like a Roger Staubach. Michael Irvin is a part of what the Dallas Cowboys are about. You know, Steve, I've said this. I really don't feel like I own the Dallas Cowboys. You own a car or a house or maybe some land or something. I'm just running with the ball for a little while. I'm just doing my deal, using whatever skills I've got. That's what Michael has done for the team. And so we don't, as far as having anything or sometimes even a tangible thing, it's what contributed to it. And like I said, I've seen so much that Michael has done apart from Playmaker.
And Jerry has always said that to me. I mean, the years that I was playing, we will always be together. In the years since I've retired, we have always been together. When you talk about it, you know, it's beyond the football field. I mean, even now, when I'm not catching touchdowns for him, you know, he'll call me over and say, let's talk about your plans, and those type things. It tells you that the man cares much more than the football, about much more than the football player. He cares about the person. So there was no doubt in my mind he's the right man for the job.
Now, I remember like it was yesterday when you were winning Super Bowls and Troy Aikman's throwing passes to you, and it's stunning to me that, you know, that the time has arrived for you to be in the Hall of Fame. It just seems like yesterday. I wonder what it's like for you to see your great players from the championship years go into enshrinement. Doesn't it feel just like yesterday that these guys were playing?
It's gone so fast. My father one time, when I was about 22, brought me into his office and he says, Jerry, you're trying to never go to bed. You're trying to make all the money. You're trying to be friends with everybody in town. And he said, you've got some kids at home. And he said, one of these days, you're going to wake up and they're going to be not kids anymore. They're going to be gone. And you're going to feel just like I feel, because I do not know where it went. Yeah. And so all I'm saying is during the times that we've had a chance to be a part of it, I mean, it hadn't gone well at times at all, but we've had some great things happen. But I really did know when we were having those things, know that today, riding in that parade, I just really, I wanted to be pleasant. I wanted to do that. But Michael was there. At times, his knee was shaking. Boy, I'm telling you, people were so admiring of him and coming out there. And I thought, what in the world? How could I trade being any place in the world and get to ride in this seat and be there and experience that love that was going on out there? It was amazing.
Well, how appropriate is this for you guys to bat cleanup tonight, with such an emotional time and have you guys on the set. We've got fireworks going off behind us here. You can't beat it. What a great ending of a great day. Congratulations, Michael. You were awesome. Jerry, thanks for coming on.
We appreciate you guys sharing more. Well, please, it's an honor having you on, Jerry Jones and Michael Irvin. Congratulations. It's happening. It's happening.
Yes.
You know?
And they can't take it back like John Madden said.
That's right. That's right. And this is one of the busts that'll be having a conversation with John Madden tonight and every night for the rest of everybody's lives.
You got to put this in there tonight? You can't take this home tonight, can you?
No, they won't let me take it home. I think if I take it home, it will not be coming back.
Michael Irvin, Hall of Famer, along with his presenter, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, right here on NFL Total Access in Canton, Ohio.